Hey everyone, Rugarus here. I'm bringing this video today to explain that, as some of you may or may not know, there are currently two versions of Vampirism Fire going on in their community. I've been getting asked why that is every single day, and I figured it would be better to make a video explaining why. I want to start by saying that the decision to have another map version was completely behind my back, with no information indicating that a second version was being developed on the side. It was kept from me entirely and released moments after I released my version of 6.5, the version that I'd been working on for several months leading up to this. I want to start by saying that I do not support the development of two maps for the same game under the same name, as it only causes confusion and splits an already small community in half. And I'll explain the reasons why this all happened in this video. I'll start with the announcement post that was made on VFG's Discord prior to them releasing their version of the map, and their post reads, "Moving forward, the leadership of VFG and Rugarus have grown different views about how this game should be developed. The biggest concern of Vampirism Fire 6.5, which is the version I was developing, is the allowance of giving special in-game skins for a fixed price. Not only does this ruin the reputation and integrity of VFG's name and its members, it's actually against the custom game acceptable use policy provided by Blizzard. With breaking the rules, we were forced to take action, and from now on we will develop our own version." I want to say that this post is a complete lie. They word this as if they talked to me about any of this and their concerns. They did not raise any concerns about the fact that I wanted to reward donators with cosmetic game skins. And next, they claim that giving donators cosmetic game skins for a fixed price is against the Blizzard terms of service under the custom game acceptable use policy. I'll read out to you this policy and explain why this is not true. The policy reads, "Blizzard recognizes that the time and resources needed to create a custom game can sometimes be substantial. Accordingly, custom game developers are permitted to fund their development costs through donations, subject to the following restrictions. Donators shall not be provided with any in-game special advantages such as private access to a custom game, special levels, graphical markers, special text, abilities, units, etc., and all users are able to play the same custom game. Summed up, this means that the developer cannot award pay-to-win benefits or anything that gives the players special advantages in-game over the other players. Cosmetic game skins, however, are completely allowed, and many other custom games do the same thing." I can understand why they may have gotten this confused, but I told them about this prior to them making this announcement when I had told them that I was going to add the donation option in the first place. They were fully aware of this before making this announcement. However, something like giving special reserve slots in game lobbies for friends is against the terms of service, which VFG with their hosting bots years ago had no issues doing. The reasoning for me wanting to allow donations for game skins is because since Reforged released, they've upped the requirements and performance load needed to run Warcraft 3 and its world editor. This in return has made it much more difficult for me to develop Vampirism Fire, as well as playing the game itself. This donation fund for game skins was to help me fund a new computer. I've been developing Vampirism Fire for 3 years, as well as contributing to it in ways that no other user has in years through the form of streaming, YouTube gameplay uploads, tutorials, creating a community Discord, running community challenges for the game, as well as updating the map and creating new features for it. I don't develop this game for money. I have never made one penny up until this point. However, I believed I have earned the right to accept donations from charitable users of the community for such a reason as funding a new computer. I would also like to state that while VFG has no issue shaming me in public on their Discord without even talking to me about it, one of their leaders, Waterwalker007, even told me that he's completely fine with me selling game skins. I also got permission from Cheeky Thing, which is one of the very first developers for Vampirism Fire, and he also assisted on the first version and eventually took over development after Skillet Collide, the original creator of Vampirism Fire, had left the community. They say that this ruins the reputation and integrity of VFG's name and its members. I have no idea what this means. This has nothing to do with VFG as a clan or its members. This is purely for anyone who is willing to donate to the developer and receive a custom skin for their character as a thank you. I do not push this on anyone. They are welcome to do so on their own free will. I would like to say, though, donations are greatly appreciated, and I thank you. Before I started developing this map, it was being developed by a user named King Crusher. He developed the map for a few years and then left the community. When he left the community, he had not shared the source codes for the map in years, which are required to further update the map. And when he left the community, the map died with him. About a year prior to him leaving the community is around the time I started getting back into Warcraft 3 and immediately started playing Vampirism Fire as my sole game. For many years, the map sat stale without any updates, and all hope was lost for the game. The game had truly hit rock bottom, combined with Warcraft 3 being a dying game at the time. No updates meant the game sat stale and was slowly dying due to game imbalance, bugs, exploits needing fixing. Eventually, a user of the community named VZK decided to take it upon himself to deprotect the current protected version of Vampirism Fire at the time, which was version 5.12, and using a much older version source codes, he was able to rebuild the map and update it till it was the same as version 5.12. We owe him a great deal of thanks, as the map would probably still be on version 5.12 without his work and contributions. Once he finished this, he did not have any intentions to further update the map, at which point I was given permissions to further update official versions for Vampirism Fire. I have a background in game programming as well as was a trusted member of the community. I was able to start making updates immediately, and the map started reviving and gaining popularity over the next few years. After about a year and a half of developing Vampirism Fire, I'd realized that I had not shared the source codes with anyone since many versions ago, and I was making the same mistake the previous developer had made with not sharing the source codes with anyone. Because if anything happened to me, the map would either die with me or development again would be heavily set back just like it was years before with the previous developer. I decided to share the source codes with one of my most trusted friends in the community named Waterwalker, one of the leaders for VFG. I told him not to share the source codes with anyone unless I gave him permission, as I didn't want the source codes to end up in the wrong hands. Mainly hackers, but as well could spawn multiple rip-off versions, lowering the quality of the map itself. While VFG has nothing to do with the map's development, I do keep them in the loop with everything I do, as they are good friends of mine, and ever since I've joined this community. I was once a leader of VFG before eventually leaving to start my own clan named Rugarus Gaming. Waterwalker and the rest of the VFG leadership decided to betray me and stab me in the back. A few weeks prior to me releasing version 6.5, the version I had in the works for over 5 months, they decided to take all of my work, which I'd shared the source codes to a month prior to release, and decided to develop their own version. They made a few small changes, keeping practically everything I'd worked on in version 6.5, minus scrapping the features that weren't finished on the version I had sent them. You can even see if you hover on the top right corner of their version of the map that it still says version 6.4D, which is the version that I had previously been working on when I handed them the source codes. They then waited for me to release my version. Moments later, they revoked my permissions to post on VFG's announcements section of their Discord and made their announcement and labeled their version 7.0 in an attempt to draw more players, thinking it's a new version of the game. I've been developing official versions for Vampirism Fire for 3 years now. I've been given permission by the previous developer VZK, which shared me the source codes to develop for this game, as well as permission to continue developing from one of the founders of the map, Cheeky Thing. I'm registered as the official developer of this map on the following websites, and their links can be found in the description. I contacted the rest of the VFG leadership and their developer for their version, and they all ignored me. I told them firstly that this was a terrible decision to develop the same game while I was actively developing mine. I told them this will only and has split the community in half, where certain people will only play either version due to loyalty reasons, which then results in longer wait times for matches to start. I told them that they should rebrand the map as a different name to avoid confusion between each map, which they chose to all ignore me. The reason they did this is not to better the community. They didn't even have the decency to inform me, the developer of 3 years, about this, and decided to go behind my back. Their sole purpose for splitting the community is so they can attempt to brand this map property of VFG. This map, Vampirism Fire, as every other map in Warcraft 3, is property of Blizzard, which can be found in their terms of service. I've known this, and I've told them this fact many times. They could care less about the community and the effect this has had on the game. They only care about attempting to brand what cannot be claimed by them. This map should belong to the community, not a clan that doesn't exist out of the game itself. If the game was being so poorly developed by me, then there would have been community backlash, but there's never been any indication that was the case. With each release, I've gotten many thanks for my work and contributions to this game. I've taken this map through a wave of ups and downs over the years. Before Blizzard eliminated the usage of host bots, admins were required to monitor matches and replays to ensure that the game was played fairly. I was one of those admins during this time, since the game had many exploits and bugs which could be easily manipulated to ruin the game experience for all players. When Blizzard announced that they were removing support for host bots, I had merely a few months to figure out a way to eliminate the need for admins to monitor matches and all the rules that people had to follow. I came up with solutions for every single exploit and bug and was able to rid the need for admins in Vampirism Fire completely. While many of the community thought this might be the end of the game, the transition from bot-hosted to player-hosted matches without admins went seamlessly. I've made this game much more competitive over the years and come up with very creative ideas for spells, items, abilities, and units which fit the lore of the game, as well as add a great uniqueness to the map. I've worked toward and achieved a much greater level of balance that could have ever been found in previous versions of Vampirism Fire, and still to this day am continuously working towards greater balance. VFG leadership figured that since their Discord was greater in size than mine, they would dwarf me and I would just give up and no one would play my version. This is not the case, and even with labeling their map a higher version number, almost 50% more people are continuing to play my version over theirs. What they have done is absolutely unprofessional and disrespectful to me, especially as a friend and as someone who's contributed to this game as much as I have. I would like to say, please do not hate on VFG's members in any way if that was your intention, as they had nothing to do with this. This decision was made only by VFG leadership. There are a lot of great people in Clan VFG. I will not quit on this game. I'm still going to continue developing for this game as I love it. It's the only game I play. I live and breathe it, as unhealthy as that might sound. And when I do decide to quit developing, I will appoint a new developer, someone that is professional and I can trust with the skills to make good changes to the map. I've recently paid for a fully customized Vampirism Fire website, which can be found at vampirismfire.com. The website turned out amazing, better than I would have ever thought. I would like to give a big shout out to Cam, who's designed it. I'll leave his Discord in the description. The website's still under construction at the time of this video, but we will have a wiki for Vampirism Fire, tutorial section, map downloads with their changelogs, and community forums and more. To wrap up this video, I'd like to say thank you to all that have supported me throughout this. It was truly terrible to find out what these people that I called my friends had done. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's supported me throughout this. The overwhelming support of the community is greatly appreciated, and I thank you so much. Thanks for watching.